Russia running out of weapons as it faces staggering numbers of casualties, spy chief says. Russia is running out of weapons for its war in Ukraine and the costs to the Kremlin are staggering in terms of soldiers killed and equipment lost, a UK spy chief will say. Sir Jeremy Fleming, the head of GCHQ, will use a rare, public speech today to say the Ukrainian armed forces are turning the tide on the physical battlefield as well as in cyberspace. The top intelligence officer will also talk about China, the main focus of his comments. Terrorists must be neutralised. Ukraine war latest updates. He will say Beijing is seeking to exploit technologies in space and online in ways that could pose a huge threat to us all. Sir Jeremy will flag concerns about the potential for the Chinese government to target the satellites of opponents at a time of conflict, crippling a crucial domain relied upon by militaries to launch weapons and communicate. It is feared the technology could also be used to track people. He will also say the Chinese Communist Party is learning the lessons from Russia's war in Ukraine, which has seen the UK and its allies hit the Russian economy with sanctions. Sir Jeremy will describe how Beijing could use digital currencies to track people's transactions and also help to protect its economy from the sort of sanctions being applied to Vladimir Putin's regime. Western allies are watching China closely amid concerns President Xi Jinping might be considering an invasion of the island of Taiwan, using the lessons drawn from Russia's attack on Ukraine to bolster its defenses against any Western response. In a speech at the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, in London, the director of GCHQ will touch on the war in Ukraine. He will call decision-making by Russian President Vladimir Putin flawed following a failure to seize Kiev in the first days of the war and a failure to make the gains he had wanted to achieve in the East. He will call decision-making by Russian President Vladimir Putin flawed following a failure to seize Kiev in the first days of the war and a failure to make the gains he had wanted to achieve in the East. It's a high-stakes strategy that is leading to strategic errors in judgment, Sir Jeremy will say. According to excerpts of the speech released on Monday night, their gains are being reversed. The costs to Russia, in people and equipment, are staggering. We know, and Russian commanders on the ground know, that their supplies and munitions are running out. The main thrust of the speech will be about China and the critical importance of Western allies staying in the race for technological advantage. The head of GCHQ will highlight a paradox that Beijing's great strength combined with fear is driving China into actions that could represent a huge threat to us all. Talking about the huge importance and impact on daily life of emerging technologies, Sir Jeremy will refer to a sliding door moment in history, using the rather unusual analogy of the 1998 romantic comedy starring Gwyneth Paltrow, in which a seemingly inconsequential event, catching a train before the door slides shut or missing it, has huge implications. The spy chief will underline the need of ensuring Western allies have technological solutions that do not rely on China given the divergence in values between democratic and authoritarian regimes. At GCHQ it is our privilege and duty to see the sliding door moments of history, he will say. This feels like one of those moments. Our future strategic technology advantage rests on what we as a community do next. I'm confident that together we can tilt that in our collective favor. Russia's forces are exhausted. The use of prisoners to reinforce, and now the mobilization of tens of thousands of inexperienced conscripts,